So you clicked on this video because you want to learn how... So you clicked on this video because you want to know the secret to kickflip nose manuals, or you're already subscribed and you just decided to watch my video because you watch everything that I upload. You rule. Thank you for that. Today we're going to be talking about kickflip nose manuals and the key of what taught me how to do them pretty often. I can't do them every try, but I'm pretty good at them now, and I'm going to talk about that in this video of what to do so that you can kind of be good at it too. Kickflip nose manuals. They are a trick that a lot of people wish they could do, among many other tricks that a lot of people wish they could do. But kickflip nose manuals is one of those staple tricks that when you're younger and you see professional skaters do them all the time, you're like, I'll never ever be able to do that, ever in my entire life. Ever. And it's also one of those tricks that when you finally learn how to do it, you're like, oh, this isn't that bad. And I'm going to talk about my process of learning how to do this and my tips that I can give you to actually do it too. Kickflip nose manuals actually took me probably in total like a year to learn how to do. In my head, I was like, I'm super good at nose manuals. I only do kickflips. Why can't I do a kickflip nose manual? And literally all that it comes down to is leaning forward when you do a kickflip. Literally jumping forward and pretty much feeling like you're gonna die from scraping and slamming really hard on the ground. You have to do that. I probably did a couple times, but it's the process of learning tricks. You have to fall in order to learn how to do stuff. You didn't learn how to skateboard without falling once. You're gonna have to do it for kickflip nose manuals. But there are definitely some other things that you'll need to know before going into learning how to just jump forward onto your nose and hoping that you do it. That's why I'm here. We're gonna talk about those things right now. So the first thing you're going to need is a manual pad. As you can see here, the one that I have is approximately however many inches that it was when I measured this, I'm not sure, I think 8. That's how tall mine is that I use, and this is actually, I think, the manual pad that I learned how to do kickflip nose manuals on, so if you want to do it too, you can find one just like this, or make one yourself. I'm not sure, but find something that looks like this. So let's talk about balance. Balancing, for some reason, for whatever reasons, doing nose manuals was way easier. Like, me balancing nose manuals was a super easy thing for me to do. I'm okay at doing regular manuals, but leaning forward is just easier for me. I'm not sure how it's going to be for you, but you're going to want to practice having the balance of doing a nose manual first. So I suggest standing in place. Or you can try doing it, you can just kind of roll on an even surface and balancing that way. And that probably helped with me being able to do kickflip nose manuals because I was so familiar with the balance. So first thing you're going to want to get down is the nose manual balance. Now the second thing you're going to need to know how to do is a kickflip. There are tons, probably literally, how much is a ton?
It's 2,000 pounds.
There are literally 2,000 pounds of trick tips out there in the world that you can learn how to do a kickflip, so I'm not going to talk about how to do a kickflip, but once you have kickflips down, you're going to be able to approach the third step, which is... The third thing is not going to be the nose manual itself, but it's going to be the nose manual nudge. The nudge of nose manuals is actually what some people kind of struggle with when they're doing nose manuals. They don't know how to do the little nollie nudge thing, where it just kind of like you turn your foot nollie and it kind of nudges you off the manual pad. What I do, I'm not sure, it was kind of like a natural thing when I was doing it. I may have just been skilled enough that I knew how to nollie and how to like kind of go off curbs and stuff, but you yourself can just either do it on the manual pad that you're practicing this trick on, or you can just find a sidewalk or something like that that has a kind of right angle curve that you could nudge off of as if it were a manual pad. Just practice doing little nollie nudges off the end, and that actually will help out a ton, because after you do the first two steps of kick flipping and then nose manualing, you're gonna have to do the nudge, because if you want it to look freaking cool, you want to do the nudge. You just kind of, you don't want to plop off the end, because it just looks bad. You can do it that way, but I like the nudge. The fourth thing that you're going to want to learn how to do is nose manuals. If you already have the balance down from the first thing that I talked about, the first little step of doing kickflip nose manuals, once you have the balance down, you should be able to just kind of ollie. I assume you know how to ollie by now onto a manual pad. If you don't, learn how to ollie. You ollie up, go to the little balance, get in your little comfort zone of the balance meter that you practiced for so long. You need to find that sweet spot. All that's important for this is the balance that you're going to be wanting to be landing on during the kickflip nose manual. So the next thing that I want to suggest for you to do, you don't have to, but if you're pretty good at kickflips, you're going to want to learn how to kickflip up onto things. This is another one of those scary things, kind of like the nudge that people don't know how to do when they're doing nose manuals, but it kind of just comes with practice, doing it over and over again, and just trusting yourself that you know how to kickflip. Practice over and over again of how to kickflip up into the manual pad first, not just into the nose manual, and once you're done with that, then you're finally, I think you're ready to put it all together. So you've heard all of the steps of leading up to the kickflip nose manual. Now the way to master it is, like I said earlier in the video, is to just lean forward when you're kickflipping up onto it. I feel like this tip is something that can come naturally when someone is learning kickflip nose manuals. They may not be dumb enough. Not saying that you're dumb, but if you're dumb like me and you're not just forcing yourself to lean forward after you kickflip onto the box, you're not gonna be able to do this trick. I don't know if you saw my last video of the park that I was at, the brand new park. There was a guy there skating there. He noticed that I had really good kickflip nose manuals, or at least has maybe seen me do them in the past or something like that, but he asked me for a tip of how to do them, and I was like, you know how to kickflip, you know how to nose manual, just lean forward. And afterwards, he tried that, and I could see the confidence level change of him trying to lean forward, and yeah, I'm fairly sure he ended up getting it afterwards. So when you're learning this trick, it might be a completely different story. It could come very naturally to you, and if it does, that's awesome. But for me, I definitely needed the tip of leaning forward just right when you kickflip up onto it, and that's what helped me out. So I wanted to share my advice with you guys. If you guys want to see more in-depth trick tips like this, I'll make sure to do so as long as you guys want to see it. And as always, I don't know what to do with the outro. Here, I'll ask Siri to tell me a random fact. In the average lifetime, a person will walk the equivalent of 5 times around the equator. That's a pretty fun fact.